projects.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. What a fantastic Friday edition of Talk Today. Probably because it is Christmas Eve. Can you actually believe it? Well, if the clock on the wall is right, it says it's something after 12. We'll figure what that is when we come back. But want to hear from you. Hope you're out and about, not too much, frustrated with the traffic. But 949-8037, if that will relieve your woes. Or 1-800-534-8255 if you got cassava cake, a custard top, cornbread, even chocolate you want to come and share. DJ Carl is on the other end of the line today. So between the two of us, we're going to listen to you. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. I know some of us were out in traffic, and some of us wish we weren't, but that's the way it rolls. Even those of us who have planned and prepared, we still find that the last minute things we need to do. So I trust that in it all, you'll not find a sense of patience, you'll actually find a sense of celebration. So as you sit in your cars, or if you're frustrated standing in lines, remember, it's all for good cause. And to be alive, to be able to draw another breath, to be able to see, to hear, some of the sights and the sounds around us, it might be annoying, but stop and reflect and find the positive. Got to be some good in something. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261. Is that the number, Mr. Fox? Yeah, man. The what you say. But at the end of the day, I trust and pray that we're all going to have a very, very wonderful, festive holiday season. The blessings for the Christmas, a very merry and safe Christmas as we plan and prepare for next year, understanding that it is 2022, but that's just how it's said. Hope it wouldn't mean there's going to be 2022 again. 2020, no. As over and done and dusted, no longer shall we be too concerned. Then there are many of us who are traveling, and wish them, whether they're going as far as East End or they're taking a very, very wonderful jaunt to Cayman and Little Cayman, or they may be going further afield on Cayman Airways. Well, a safe flight with family and friends as you visit. May you be mindful that we are indeed an interesting time. But who wants to be the first caller today? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. I was very thankfully reminded earlier that we complain in many instances about how we commercialize so much. And even though this was not necessarily part of the quick discussion, it reminded me that we look at it. Education, there's a for-profit motive. Even in our churches, we see, even in this community, people say, oh, well, is that a church or a business? Or we hear about the money aspect in our schools and even in our holidays. Well, maybe we'll reference that in a second as we go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling Dwayne. I know you were begging for callers, so I had to be the first one.
Man, listen to me, man. I always, always appreciate you reaching out, So, Merry Christmas again, man. I'm hoping that each day, each hour, getting even better.
Yes, sir. Every day gets better and every hour gets better.
Yeah, what's that? Every day is a holiday?
Yeah. Life is what you make it, So if you make it a holiday, that's great.
Yeah, that's the thing, It's for some. We look at it, and we understandably feel the pressures. We complain even when we don't mean to. But as someone reminded me, don't only be thankful that you have a job, but that you have the health to go to the job and a job to go to. And maybe if you see the positiveness and things, you might be able to take a different perspective. So,
just be thankful you got life.
That's it. Where does health and strength, right?
And living in a place that we live in, because so many people, you would give up their life to live here, because it's so so nice.
Yeah. What is it though that you think? I mean, I keep wondering about this. There are some of us, no matter what, we just seem to be aggrieved. We just seem to be, I don't want to say angry or bitter or sour or, I don't know, man. Nothing is good. Nothing is good enough. It always seems to.
That's the nature of the beast in us.
Okay.
But if we just sit back for 1 minute and look at things and say, hey, look, I spoke to John Brown or Mary Sue the other day, and I thought my life was bad, but theirs are worse than mine. If we was to look at that, then I think that we would come off with a better attitude towards life. Because there's always someone that is worse off or in a worse shoe than you.
But there are those also, as you said, who see that way and who give thanks and who look at it no matter what. They understand that their circumstances are not exactly what they would like and wish it was better, but they realize it could be worse, that others are in a worse position. What makes that person see it in that sense versus the former who looks at it and always negative, a contrarian always?
Well, like I said, the nature of the beast in us is always negative. But we can take and throw him in the corner and say, hey, look, you're not getting at me today. And we can go with that attitude every day. Every day is a new day.
I think what you're sharing makes absolute sense, but that joy, probably that void that we're trying to fill in so many ways, I wonder what would need to happen. What can we do to make that, sort of be the perspective that we have. Always positive. Always, looking at it in the best possible way. Finding the good in all. I want to.
What I would say on that is, find God.
Find God.
Find God. The peace that you get when you find God, there's no comparison anywhere else.
Now, that may seem obvious, and for some, very evidently easier to do than others, but how is it? I mean, for others it's difficult, so how do we do that?
Well,
I mean,
it is, well, it's not difficult, but you have to first accept, hey, look, I need to find God, it's just like anything else. If you want to stop smoking or drinking, you got to first admit to yourself that there is something that is lacking, there's something needing, or there's a problem. If you don't accept that, you never get anywhere.
You know, and I think too many people, and I'm mindful that I probably say this improperly and offend people, and it's not the intent, but doesn't mean that it wouldn't be the outcome, right? But for some, we go through the motions, and this is where I think is always a personal relationship that you have with God or your God. And you know, we look at others through the lens of the flesh, and we critique them, we criticize them, we see them and we admonish them for what we think that we know is going on in their lives, even the amount of stuff that we might actually know, without probably appreciating that there's so much more that we don't. So we see the flesh, we see the things, and we say, oh, that person's a hypocrite in church every day or only some days, and even preaching, even, you know, in the choir, but not understanding that, you know, within that person, you know, there is this level of perhaps comfort, level of seeking, level of desire for, you know, being filled with something more than just the material or the ethereal, you know.
Well, I watched an illustration by a pastor, and I'm tempted to call his name because he's awesome. That's Pastor Matt Donald. He illustrated, you know, what man looks at on the outward appearance. So he had on an old, you would say, ragged shirt, but he got his jacket on over it. Looks very, very nice, immaculate. So he started his sermon, and he started saying, you know, man looks at the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart.
Right.
And he says, you may judge me by how I look outwardly. And then he started to take off. He said, what would you think about me now?
But we allow ourselves. I mean, I love that illustration, right? You know, judge you not lest judge not lest you be judged, right? But what do we say, you know? Dress, you know, to impress, you know. The dress makes the man, you know.
Yeah, I went into a store the other day. Cost you less. And there was a young lady with 3 children, and I said, made conversation with her, or with the children rather. And I said to them, I say, well, what do you want for Christmas? So the mother said, honestly, we don't need one thing. She said, I just came out of another store spending $800 buying stuff for people. I am not going to be giving my children anything, because she said they don't need it. She said, I got a big 4-bedroom house, and got a good job, I got a good husband, you know. And she went down the line. She said, no, I have to give. I just can't sit down and see people that I know need something and don't give them. She said, that's going to be my Christmas. That's been my Christmas for the past 2 years. She said, I enjoy it and I look forward to it every year. And I told her, I said, well, I do the same as well.
Good, man. Good. I think there are many of us who give quietly. There's no fanfare. We don't want any publicity.
Right.
And, you know, when we do that, I think that's what, like I said, you know, God looks at the heart. But yet there are people who will judge the others, you know, for that action.
Oh, yeah. Many people that will judge you for that.
Yeah, man. But you know what? You do what you can because you can, and you make the most of it. And end of the day,
and the best of it.
Yeah, exactly. End of the day, you put your best foot forward, and you know, that's what's important. And happiness is an interesting thing. You know, was it it was Plato, but maybe Aristotle. Well, you know, happiness is relative, and when we look at it, you know, there are many of us who have a lot. You know, they don't want anything from the financial and the material, but they're not happy.
They're not happy. Correct.
The story about the guy that graduated from Oxbridge, one of the big UK, notoriety universities there, and he travels to the primitive land, and there's the man, sitting there in a boat, and he tells him, he's highly educated, and business. What he needs to do, as he speaks to the primitive man, is go to the bank and get a loan, and expand his fleet so that he can earn more money, and one day be able to retire and just sit on the beach, enjoy himself. The fellow say, well, that's what I'm doing now. No debt, no struggles, no trials, no stress. I have what I need to make me live. So, man, we have to wonder how we measure success.
Yes.
All right, man. Well, you feel free to weigh in and share your perspective, provide your counsel anytime, man. Any other thoughts you want to share before we head up to the next break?
I may call back.
Yeah, man. Please do.
Okay.
All right. Hey, thanks, man, for opening up the phone lines, and for those who are listening, hey, give us a shout. We want to hear from you. It's going to be a good day, and even better because you're here to play. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office.
Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
Savannah Pharmacy. Shop local and get a head start on your Christmas shopping. For ladies' handbags, clothes, shoes, fragrance, candles, and cosmetics with the newest Farmhouse Fresh line of skincare. For the gentlemen, clothes, shoes, fragrances, gift sets, and toys and games for the kids. Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they are always just around the corner with everything your family needs. And convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
A friendly holiday reminder. You can WhatsApp your Savannah Pharmacy prescription to 929-5045. That's 929-5045.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Please be advised that the pension contribution holiday has been extended until 31st of March, 2022. Employers and plan members should ensure arrangements are in place for salary deductions and remittance following this date. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, keeping you informed. For further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We're here for you.
Brand Source is helping you get a load off this Christmas with 10% off all washers and dryers. Choose from top loaders, front loaders, compact laundry centers, and wash towers, all at 10% off. Shop the best in laundry appliances from Samsung, General Electric, LG, and commercial brands like Encore and Crossover. Save 10% now until December 24th on all washers and dryers. Only at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Call Brand Source at 623-5000.
Let me tell you something. I've been fishing our island since I was a boy, and it's getting harder and harder to get a good catch. Maybe it's because there are so many more people in Cayman than ever before. Maybe it's because of how the climate is changing. I don't know about that, but I do know that I want to be able to keep fishing and teach my children to fish one day as well. So it makes sense to me that we have certain areas and certain times of the year to fish for certain things. This year, a new rule was placed on fishing for grouper that says no one can fish for nass or grouper anywhere in Cayman from December 1st to April 30th while they're spawning. There is also no fishing allowed at all for any kinds of fish in the spawning zones, and no scuba diving there either. It feels unfair not to be allowed to fish where my daddy taught me to fish, but I know that being patient now means we can keep fishing for many more generations. We're all in this together, right?
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for sharing with us. It's Christmas Eve, and I know many of us are busy at work, accommodating those of us who have the day off, preparing, for the festive season, the wonderful meals that we may have already started to partake. Certainly, the preparation for some tonight, whether it's the exchange of gifts, whether it's the wonderful fellowship, as of tomorrow, from the church services to the family gatherings. Well, I trust and pray there's going to be a great, wonderful time. And share with us your memories, share with us your frustrations, even if that's necessary to help you through the day. We're right here. I'd love you to have a say. But we're talking about commercializing and the commercialization of so much, especially in the holidays. And the question was asked, maybe have you all weigh in and share your perspective. We talk about the 12 days of Christmas, and we see in some instances that it's, for many, a notion. So, from your perspective, when we start counting the 12 days, does it start before Christmas Day, or does it end on Christmas Day, or is Christmas Day the first day as we count the 12 days? So, what do you think? Is Christmas Day the last day, the 12 days culminating 12 days of Christmas, or is Christmas Day the first day, and then we move forward the calendar thereafter? Wouldn't mind you weighing in and share with us what you think, because as we look at it, we know that many times we see probably the genuine intent to get the economic engine going, make sure there's a boost to the economy, that we'll see Christmas in July. We'll see merchants through advertising and promotions trying to get more traffic through the doors. Nowadays it may be an online mouse click or the like, but to create more commerce. So is that idea of the 12 days of Christmas, does it end, culminate on Christmas Day, or is Christmas Day the first day, and then we count the days 1 through 12 thereafter? Want to hear what you think or know? 949-8037, 949-8037. Toll free with the kind compliments of Flo at 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261, and share your thoughts with us. As we look at much that is happening, especially now, this time of the year, but especially now this time of year, at this particular time in human history, that we are perhaps, apt to stop and reflect. Or we look at, cases that have gone through the courts and the verdicts have been rendered, and seemingly the international community has paid attention. Well, let's go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
Hey, afternoon, man. Blessings to you.
Yes. I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas on behalf of myself and all my family and all the Muslim community here. We wish a prosper, peaceful, happy holiday. And if you drink, don't drive, and make sure that somebody else drives.
Right. Well, you had
everybody a peaceful Christmas. Keep a distance from everybody. Just no hugs, no kisses.
Yeah.
Still, we have danger, disease, and we need to be caution about everything. And publicly, I want to ask to thank the government, wish them all Merry Christmas. The Honorable Premier Wayne Banton and Deputy Premier, Mr. Chris Sander, and all the ministers and everybody in Cayman. So everybody enjoy his Christmas, and I wish no accident, nothing happened to anyone. Peaceful, joyful Christmas to everyone. I want to wish everybody in Cayman Brac, where I'm going today, which I will spend this Christmas in Cayman Brac. So Cayman Brac people, I am coming there.
So you know what? I trust and pray.
If Juliana Moses Kirkconnell will like me come to Cayman Brac or not.
Yeah, sure, man. And was it the other day? Yeah, I know they will, man. The other day you reminded us how to say.
I want to wish Miss Juliana and Mr. Moses Kirkconnell a Merry Christmas, and everybody in the Brac and all islands.
All right. So it's what? Eek Milad Majid was what you say? Is that how you say it?
Eek Milad Majid, yes.
Eek Milad Majid. All right. You know,
Okay,
well, God bless, man. And I hope you have a safe flight, but definitely a very peaceful, enjoyable, and wonderful, wonderful Christmas. All right. You know, this is it. You know, we hop a Cayman Airways flight and we go across to the back of the Cayman, and we share with family and friends, and we celebrate. And, you know, for some, they'll find a way to spend their time between here and Grand Cayman and on the sister islands. For some, they may have to split their time because their family may be on one island, but across, you know, many districts. And then there are those who wish they had that level of convenience. If they are here, they can't be with their family that is elsewhere. And if they go with their family, then they leave family and friends that are here. And maybe as the caller was speaking, we'll be mindful to look with even more gratitude and a greater sense of appreciation of where we are, what we have, and perhaps, you know, in a positive way, who we are. We're alive. We can make something happen and make that thing be a positive thing. So share with us now. You know, what are your Christmas plans come tomorrow? I think if some of us had our way, you know, we would probably be out on a catboat somewhere in the North Sound, just chilling and relaxing. Others probably would like to be in another place, whether it's a tropical climate or whether it was somewhere where snow was coming down because that's what they know, or maybe they never had it ever before and always dreamed of it being so. And I think as we look at what this year and the last one, you know, with everything that has happened and is happening, that we kind of want a little different. Well, let's collectively work together, have a greater sense of love and respect for each other and for ourselves, and do the very best that we can, thereby making it better for all. So what is your Christmas wish? What are your Christmas plans? And I can even think of the different foods that we may even prepare for ourselves and our families. There are probably some favorite dishes. You may want to tuck into the cassava cake before you get the turtle or the beef, or you might say, you know what, let me get through all the other stuff because that'll be the best way, but leave room for dessert. And for some of you, we eat a whole lot all year, and probably some of these seem things that we only get for some at Christmas and New Year's. It's probably a staple for others throughout the year. So they might decide, you know what, let me just relax a bit. Can't wait until just the leftovers and take the scrapings of the beef and make a sandwich. Take the remaining bits and pieces of the turkey and make a soup. Well, that's why we're turtle. You eat it all then. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. I'm going to pause and take a short break. When we come back, more talk today.
Are you planning a social, an office party, or event over the holiday season? Make the most of your holiday party and leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway Box to Go with the option of a 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. Cater your holiday parties with Subway. Visit subway.ky for menu options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The holidays wouldn't be the same without a little boom. From Fireworks Limited, Cayman's biggest firework discount megastore is now open behind Massive Equipment in Industrial Park. Fireworks Limited has a megastore full of new fireworks and offers huge volume discounts. Stock up early and save big with free gifts with every purchase and the biggest variety of products on island. Fireworks Limited is behind Massive in Industrial Park with tons of parking.
Open until 6 p.m. every night and until 9 p.m. on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve.
You can now register online to receive a securely verified digital copy of your COVID-19 vaccination status with QR code through the My HSA patient portal. Sign up is available online and at all HSA locations. All you need is your photo ID showing date of birth and an email address. Visit hsa.ky and click the My HSA patient portal icon to get started.
The technology sector is forecast to be one of the fastest growing industries in the next decade, with more jobs available than skilled people to fill them. Enterprise Cayman is helping to fill this void and grow the next generation of Caymanian innovators, giving young people access to high-quality learning experiences with the opportunity to pursue careers in technology and innovation sectors. Learn to code, how product development works, enter professional competitions, access high-tech resources, network with special economic zone industry professionals, and much, much more. Visit enterprisecayman.ky to find out more. Brought to you by Cayman Enterprise City.
Hi, this is your Minister of Health and Wellness, Sabrina Turner. This Christmas, I ask that you celebrate responsibly. Please wear your mask, practice good hand hygiene, and most of all, get your COVID-19 booster shot. Protect yourself, protect the ones you love. Have a happy and safe Christmas.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Or WhatsApp 925-3261, and let us hear from you as you choose to, relay some of your maybe favorite stories, things that you treasure the most. Perhaps even that thing that at the end of the day, no matter what happens, that's the one thing that you look forward to the most. Is there such a thing that you are so inclined to enjoy that nothing can make it, for you anything other than a great Christmas, unless you have that? Well, for many of us, it's the sitting and spending time with family. It doesn't matter, how much food there is always enough. The company can't come soon enough, and they leave too late. It's never an issue. It's just not long enough, because it's that one time a year. To think of many who actively plan their working lives throughout the year, so that they take a few days off during Christmas, as we call it, in order to do just that. So we asked the question earlier, that idea of the 12 days of Christmas. Do you think it starts on Christmas Day or ends on Christmas Day? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261, and share your thoughts with us. I had a good company earlier, of being able to listen to a few who were eager to relay that despite all that is happening around the world and all that has changed here in the last year, in the last decade, and some would say last half century, that's still a relatively great place. But how can we make it better? Are we at capacity now relative to our roads? Are we asking too much of our governments in terms of the expectations to develop the infrastructure, to continue with the increasing, recurrent costs to maintaining infrastructure and providing all the services, not just that which is being asked for, but that which has become expected. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261, and share with us. It's interesting as we were preparing for today to have a chance to speak to a couple of our younger students who have just sort of put on hold their next chapter in their lives, whether it be a time off before university and further studies, having gone through high school and graduated, or whether they're toying with, well, should they work for a bit, not quite sure where to go. And one of the young fellows said he's always had an interest in what we would affectionately call the trades, and understanding for many that there is great money to be made, that there's a lack of skilled people in the field. And he said, well, this is where he wants to go. And unfortunately, he said that despite all of the public sort of appeal, the public disclosure of the lack of people to take up that industry, he was unable to just get his foot in the door, either as a part-time, either as some sort of intern, for want of a better word. And he said, his teacher at the school was even somewhat surprised. Now, he shared that initially wasn't even looking to be paid. He wanted to be able to go and get introduced to that sector to see if that is, working there would be what he thought. Now, he understands that if you are in construction, that the only time that potentially, you would be working out of the sun is when you've got the roof on and you're doing work on the inside. But you're not going to be doing traditional building of a house. You don't put the roof on and then the rest of the structure in place so that you're not outside under the sun. Or if you are building a house, you don't erect a huge canopy so that you can work on it. Now, he thought, well, maybe some places they do, and maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea, but that's not the norm. It's probably better for you in any way to build it and to get the fresh air, to get the sun. But he was a bit taken, he says, that the seemingly difficulty to find a suitable opportunity to pursue what he thinks is his interest and where he wants to go. Now, he did share that he didn't just want to work in the sector as it is. He wanted to get a proper accreditation and come back and be able to work and to apply himself and to learn. Now, was it, he says, just because of the experiences that we're all going through now, where companies are reluctant to expand, fearful of what the economy might look like? Or is it that to hire more staff may be just greater challenges on the management and administration of personnel relative to the safety? Now, as he was sharing, you could see the passion, but you could see the almost growing sense of being discouraged. Or maybe his gift perhaps will be granted where he can come in the new year and find a good employer that take him on and provide that level of instruction, that apprenticeship that could lead to a greater sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. But 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261. And quick message that came through during the break, and I was trying to pull it up to read it for us directly. One of our listeners, referencing a show earlier, suggests that when we think of Cayman as we know it, do we see two things? Cayman through the lens of our aged population that maybe harkening back to a time when in their earlier youth things were different. It may have seemed to us to be almost have been an impossible ordeal to have endured the mosquitoes, but to our parents and grandparents, as this person was writing, maybe the changes that they see before us are almost, unconscionable. And then the other lens, he said, when we sit here, are we willing to look and consider what the future would be like, for our children and their grandchildren, and for those who 50 years from now will be living here, or whether we ourselves will be on in years, as it were, or whether we will no longer. What will that Cayman look like in 50 years? He shared something that I thought was insightful, provocative, certainly evocative, but it was, within his context, stimulated an analysis of where we are in this season. The ability for some, in some places, to move about is hindered. For others, it's almost as if there is no issue. Now, who's being cautious and who's being perhaps cavalier? Well, I guess history will let us know. But for now, who among us is that most grateful, that most sort of deserving of all that we have? So let's start with the level of gratitude and that attitude. Where are we? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Are you seeing Cayman, through that lens where it is an exciting, beautiful, safe place, and you're out and about and can move, or are you, hesitant to do anything more out of that fear that we may have a society in short order that doesn't reflect, resemble, or somehow, revolve around that value system that you think is the one that brought us to be where we are, that successful, socially conscious and socially harmonious place. In 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. We'll pause shortly and we'll take our news break. When we come back, we'll invite you to call and share your thoughts with us and be a part of our discussion on this Christmas Eve edition. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Let me tell you something. I've been fishing our island since I was a boy, and it's getting harder and harder to get a good catch. Maybe it's because there are so many more people in Cayman than ever before. Maybe it's because of how the climate is changing. I don't know about that, but I do know that I want to be able to keep fishing and teach my children to fish one day as well. So it makes sense to me that we have certain areas and certain times of the year to fish for certain things. This year, a new rule was placed on fishing for grouper that says no one can fish for Nassau or grouper anywhere in Cayman from December 1st to April 30th while they're spawning. There is also no fishing allowed at all for any kinds of fish in the spawning zones, and no scuba diving there either. It feels unfair not to be allowed to fish where my dad had taught me to fish, but I know that being patient now means we can keep fishing for many more generations. We're all in this together, right?
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Liquor Licensing Board advises liquor license holders in the category of a retail bar, retail nightclub, package, distributor, and retail mobile to adhere to the restriction on their license, which prohibits the sale of intoxicating liquor on Christmas Day, December 25th, 2021. The prohibition period begins at 12 a.m. and ends at 11:59 p.m. Saturday, December 25th, 2021. License holders are reminded that all sales must cease 10 minutes before closing. In international news, a Russian court has jailed for 21 years a former Orthodox priest said to have adopted 70 children for a string of child abuse offenses. Nikolai Stremsky was convicted of rape and other violent acts in his parish in the Urals in southwest Russia. Stremsky was reputed to have Russia's largest family and was decorated with a National Order of Parental Glory. Barred from the priesthood, he has also been stripped of his honor. A fourth woman has accused Sex and the City actor Chris Noth of sexual abuse and threatening to ruin her career if she spoke out about the alleged attack. The accusation comes after 3 other women alleged that Mr. Noth had sexually assaulted them in 2004, 2010, and 2015. Mr. Noth rejected earlier accusations as categorically false. A rare walking handfish, which is native only to Australia, has been spotted for the first time in 22 years off the Tasmanian coast. The pink handfish was last sighted by a diver off Tasmania in 1999 and has only been seen 4 other times. Fearing for its survival, officials had recently classified it as endangered. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I think, sometimes on days like this, we'd either tuck into the cassava cake or we go find some good chocolate. And when you can, if it's sea salt and dark chocolate, even better. And a time of year, especially Christmas. Now, I had a friend who sent something to me I want to share with you, but first let's go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. Good afternoon to all our listeners.
I just called your name, Mr. Raymond. How are you, sir? Wish you all the best to you.
Yes, sir. All the best. And to everyone that is hearing my voice, wishing them a Merry Christmas and happy and prosperous New Year.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say a very gracious thank you to all those people who assisted me in finally getting my house finished after being under construction for 12 years. Finally got into it, and I am in my new house for Christmas, so that's something to be very thankful for.
Thank God, glad one. Yes.
Yes. It was damaged during Paloma, and we demolished it, and just got back into the new one. So I want to thank all those persons, every single one, whoever assisted in making things possible and assisted me in getting the house finished and doing all the work and things like that. Wish them all the very best and great.
Indeed, yes, sir.
All of those of my customers and doing heavy equipment work, and thank them all for their support, and wishing them all the very best for the Christmas and the New Year.
I'm glad that you got in, because I know there are others, who would love to be in for Christmas who are so close but just can't get the finishing done. So, I'm glad that you were able to, and you shared. You said thanks to all who helped.
Yes, correct. And the plan. Some people were inquiring about the fireworks that usually take place on New Year's night at Scott's Dock, right alongside, close by my place.
Right.
So that is going to take place as usual for 9 p.m. fireworks to be at 9 p.m. on New Year's night. That's what I was told. I'm passing it on as I heard it, 9 p.m. for the fireworks on New Year's night. That attracts one of the biggest crowds ever on Cayman Brack, the fireworks at the Scott's Dock and the fireworks at the Brack Reef Hotel. That's what used to be at the for the Christmas and the New Year.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, giving us a reminder now, we'll see probably similar things happening elsewhere as well in terms of trying to keep people safe. So is fireworks display something that you look forward to, Mr. Raymond?
Yeah, definitely. And people used to come on the hill by my yard, where my house is in the yard, and watch the fireworks, because I'm at an elevated hill there, higher than the rest of the area around. Incredible. Things are very much changed for this Christmas with the blasted epidemics that we have raging in our island. So things are different this year, where families and friends can't gather freely like they could. And last Christmas was good like that, but now this one has changed totally, and a lot of things going on with the COVID and the Omicron or the Omicron, whichever one you want to pronounce it as. Quite interestingly, 20 years ago, there was a ship passed here. I communicated with it, and that word Omicron or Omicron, that's a Greek word, one of the Greek gods, somebody that you worship as a mankind. And that ship was named Omicron Majesty. I remember plainly, that's how they pronounced it, Omicron Majesty. That was the name of the ship. That was roughly 20 years ago. That was a Greek company that had that ship named Omicron Majesty from those long 2 decades ago. Anyway, for the Christmas, quite interestingly, made arrangements with a ship named Millie, a tanker named Millie. That's my dear mother, Miss Millie. She was named Millie. A tanker named Millie is coming by Spot Bay off the north side of Cayman tomorrow, and for a celebration, Christmas celebration, to do a blast of its horns while passing by, coming from the Dominican Republic, going to Houston, and the sixth biggest in the world also planning to ask that to come by and celebrate the Christmas for us. The sixth biggest tanker in the world coming from China going to America. So lots of activity around. And Cayman Brac is hot sunshine, choppy seas on the north side. The cold front eased up. We had it. Remember some days ago, Mr. Lofty asked me how long I think. I told him 2 to 3 days, and he said, you got your hopes high. But, yeah, I had my hopes high. I knew what I was talking about. It's 2 or 3 days, and that's been day before yesterday. It's moderated, and we're going to get some good weather again, and it should be a fairly clear skies tomorrow night for the Christmas. And like I said the last time about the meteor shower, the shooting stars,
on the 26th.
Objects from other planets burning up in the atmosphere, and call them shooting stars. So that's also something to look for tonight, tomorrow night, into the 26th night.
Right. Providing clear covers there. It's good to gaze into the heavens, Mr. Raymond. I guess you have from where you are, a good vantage point.
Yeah, right now I'm in my garage after some mechanic work. That's what I'm doing after today.
All right. Well, again, I'm glad that you were not only able to get in for Christmas as you wanted, but to publicly acknowledge your appreciation and blessings to you for the Christmas, to you, the family, to the entire country, but our good friends and family on the Brac and Little Cayman in particular.
Yes, and thank you for your cooperation during the year of my discussions on the talk show.
Always, sir.
And
Always.
I also wishing Mr. Dolan very Merry Christmas and speedy recovery. I know he was not doing well. Wishing him all the best if you're listening.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Yes. To everybody, be careful. Be extremely careful on your movements wherever you go because of the epidemic, the Omicron, and the COVID. Be very careful, everybody, and take precautions. Use your hygienics, mask, and hand sanitizer, Listerine on the face, mouth, nose, around there to keep you sanitized, and that's the only way to help prevent it and stay in a distance from crowds and people. So that's the advice. Whoever think when I read it on the internet, new virus starts in China. I remember the first day that I seen that posted on the internet. And here it is, all the way in Cayman, roughly 11,000 miles away that traveled, and we got it here. Yes, and anyway.
Makes you wonder. Yeah, thank you very much, sir, and have a wonderful, safe Christmas, sir.
Yes, sir. Wonderful Christmas as well. Happy times. All the best.
All the best. Thank you. You know, and this is where we are. So those who are listening now, want to share, want to ask a question, you want to maybe pose a question, well, go right ahead. Why don't we share this riddle someone sent to us? Got a couple, if you will, to play along. Says, you know, you measure my life in hours, and I serve you by expiring. I'm quick when I'm thin, and slow when I'm fat. The wind is my enemy. What am I? So, you measure my life in hours, and I serve you by expiring. I'm quick when I'm thin, and slow when I'm fat. The wind is my enemy. You know, what am I? Nope, it's not a politician. So, you know, give you that one quick time. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261. And what's it take a gander at answering that riddle and providing us with an answer? 949-8037, or toll free with the compliments of Flo at 1-800-534-8255. You can imagine the great pleasure that Mr. Raymond is feeling, that sense of elation that you're into your home. You want to be home for Christmas. Many of us would think of the seafarers or fathers and stuff as they come home for Christmas. If we're building, well, it's the scene, huh? Let's go to the phones. Welcome, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, welcome to Green, Elvis here, brother.
Brother Elvis, how are you? Very thankful. How about you, man? Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, I just come from the farm, getting some cassava and pumpkin, name it. I got a bunch of plants, about 60 pounds.
Man, you're doing what we all should be.
Yeah, look here. I don't pray for many things, and I pray for rain, because I give. If you give, you will get.
Amen.
You know?
Yeah, true.
All right, now I want to wish all the MLAs and the Premier, thank you for your leadership. And I want to say to the Cayman people, listen to me, stop blaming our politicians for ignorance, lack of enforcement of the law, and utter disrespect for the people and the laws of the Cayman Islands. Caymanians on to stop blaming, stop putting the blame the wrong way. On to can see where the blame is, but on to choose the easy way out. I stand up for the rights, and you know what I get? Crucified. But they crucified Jesus Christ too for standing up. You know? Stop doing. I am 63 years old. And you know, I talk to people. I say, do you know the biggest problem that I have? I was talking to my daughter just a while ago. The biggest problem that I got is that I can see what's going on in the country, and the rest see it, but it turn the eye. And when I speak up something about it, now I know when I get emotional, I get carried away. You know, that's
right. What a passion.
The passion, because I'm a musician, and when I get heated with the rhythm, I get blown away. Yeah? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But tell me something. Do you know, Mr. Parnan said, let's build a community that we can build a country, right? And when you know, when you drive around your beautiful district of West Bay, right? You see the direct vehicles?
Yep.
Huh?
Yep.
You see all of the garbage, like what's going on? Tell me something. Is our politician to blame for that? Yes. in a certain way. But we not enforcing our laws. Why? Because, hey, let me tell you something. You want to put a picture? The value of the Cayman money, put it the same as the Limpia, the Jamaica dollar. I bet you not see them hanging up there then.
Yeah.
The rich can be here, you know. Don't worry about the rich, they can be here forever.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, here I am, going in, 63 years old, and facing a charge in Grand Court for standing up for what is right. Like I say, I said it the wrong way, and I apologize, but nobody accepts my apology. No one. But tell me something. What I said on the radio, I am sure that no children is crying today for the parents that died from corona. I mean, that died from my speech.
Mm-hmm.
But they're crying for the parents this Christmas that passed away. And you know the sad story? It's community spread. Preach. Quarantine. Utterly disrespect. I see something happen yesterday, but I not call no name because, hello, there's no enforcement. The enforcement on the Caymanians, especially one that speak out and tell the living truth. We need to respect each other. But you see, the people come and see that we Caymanians do not respect each other. So they say, you know something? If they don't respect each other, why should we respect them?
Mm-hmm.
Am I right, my brother?
No sense of unity as you shared, huh?
It's a sad story. But it's so real. I mean, it is so real. Anyhow, all I can do is, like I said, I pray for the real. I'm not praying for people anymore. And I'm not praying for myself because I now get forgiveness. I try to kill myself. The Bible says you try to kill yourself, you can't get forgiven. So I crossed that stage in my life now. So I ain't praying for me anymore. I pray for the children, the grandchildren, that they open their eyes.
But is that...
That's all I can pray for, you know?
Yeah. And I think that in some societies we see the passion, the courage, you know, the people like Martin Luther King, even, you know, Malcolm X, if you look at the US example of more recent times. And not to speak to you, your situation or anything specific, but just in general, do you think that could be part of the challenge that we're facing, that individual that speaks out is no longer encouraged but is squashed? If I say that with sort of the greatest of respect that I can muster, let's think to the Honorable W. McKeever Bush in his early days, canvassing and campaigning in the political stage and making comments. And when he was elected, whether seeking re-election or from the floor of the House at the time, and he would say things, albeit the privileges that he enjoyed, like any parliamentarian in the House. But that charisma, that charm, that passion, that desire to call out some of the things that the wider community will see, but maybe unable to say, maybe afraid to say, maybe not quite sure that they have the eloquence or the courage or the conviction to say.
But you see, but that's what they hated McKeever Bush for, the elite thing. They looked at him like me, a little big mug bear, foot west bear, where you don't keep your mug fire and go cut bush or do something like that. Because they're afraid of me because I'm firing with all guns, But they coming from the brain. I told him, I got a fire on my brain, I got a fire on my brain. They can't out that. Only one thing out it is when I gone. They can't out the fire that's burning in my soul. And they know it. They're afraid of me for the next election, If I leave, they're afraid of me because they know they can't stand up to the pressure.
Right.
That if I walk in there if the Lord give me the health and strength, and the people put their faith in me, they know, Cayman, I got to rock the boat with love, roots, and reality. And how doing?
Yeah.
You and your family have the best for the Cayman Islands and everybody over the world. We live to see a beautiful Christmas and a happy New Year.
Amen, brother. Amen.
God bless.
God bless, man.
Thank you for the time, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. And certainly appreciate it as we go into the break. And some would listen and say sometimes, we shoot the messenger without heeding the message. Sometimes it's not, exactly, in a thought into what we say. So we need to consider it. But at the end of the day, some things have to be introduced to the equation in order to encourage people not to take lightly, not to go gently into that good night, as they say. Let's pause and take the short break. When we return, we invite you to call and share your thoughts. Stay tuned.
Linton Nathaniel Tibbetts, 1923 to 2011. Linton Tibbetts was known throughout the Cayman Islands not only as a successful businessman, but as one who showed great interest in his homeland and invested time, money, and influence to help the welfare of his beloved sister islands. In the late 1960s, he organized the first annual Cayman picnic, still held each July in the Tampa-St. Petersburg area, to bring together the many Caymanians living in the United States and encourage them to remember their roots. In 1972, Mr. Linton and several other successful Brackers started an air service between Florida and Cayman Brac to bolster the sister islands' embryonic tourism industry. The air service was later expanded to serve all three islands with a fleet of 7 planes. He built hotels and museums on both sister islands and was involved in establishing Cayman Brac Power and Light Company. Although his career was primarily devoted to operating his chain of building supply stores in Florida, he always visited the islands frequently and maintained close ties with his family and friends in Cayman. Mr. Linton and his wife Pauline, Miss Polly nee Inix, had 4 children.
We may be in Christmas shopping mode, but 'tis the flu season too. Savannah Pharmacy has immune system boosters for the entire family with a range of vitamins and supplements. Their knowledgeable and courteous pharmacists are always available to offer the best advice and products. Remember, they are always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
A friendly holiday reminder. You can WhatsApp your Savannah Pharmacy prescription to 929-5045. That's 929-5045.
20 years.
Remember when Crew Road had no median and Linford Pearson was only 2 lanes?
We do.
When Dirty Reeds was down the street?
We do.
We have been there.
20 years.
Remember when Crew Road had no median and Linford Pearson was only 2 lanes?
We do.
When Dirty Reeds was down the street?
We do.
We have been there for the falls, the growth, and the rise. When your body and mind needed to change, Powerhouse Gym has been here. We've skated with you. Your first date, your daughter's first time on skates, your son's first strike. From football to squash, to karate and hockey, to bowling and concerts, and everything in between.
For 20 years,
so much has changed, some for the good and some not so much. Through it all, King Sports Center has been here for you, for Cayman.
King Sports Center, celebrating 20 years as Cayman's home for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
The community is reminded to ensure the proper disposal of used LFT kits. Place the used LFT and all items into the marked bag with the biohazard yellow triangle symbol provided with the kit, and then discard in the garbage bin. For more information on waste disposal tips, visit the DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky or their Facebook page or call 949-6696.
Tis
'Tis the season to celebrate. I'm Cassandra Bennett, Trade Officer with the Department of Commerce and Investment. Liquor license holders are reminded of their permitted hours and in particular, the closing hours of 12 a.m. effective until December 30th for all bars, nightclubs, restaurants with bars, and retail mobile holders. All liquor license holders are also reminded that sales must stop 10 minutes prior to closing time, which is now 12 a.m. Social distancing is still encouraged and a maximum capacity for indoor venues is 100 people and 250 people for outdoor venues. Closing hours for New Year's Eve will be announced as soon as a cabinet directive has been confirmed. Stay tuned to Radio Cayman 89.9 FM. For further details, please email the Department of Commerce and Investment at info@dci.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for sharing with us. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Know you're out and about, doing your shopping. For some, it isn't their last minute shopping. It's like, just the only time I got. For others, it's like, I've been searching all year, but I'm not quite sure just yet what to get. Well, hopefully, the people for whom we're buying will be appreciative of two things. First and foremost, that we're here. We're together, we can share and celebrate. And that gift that we're giving is of time and of each other and of love. And not necessarily look so much at what is to be wrapped and unwrapped. Now, for the giver, they can just give and give and give and give. So always wanting to give more. Maybe take a little time and give to yourself. Put your feet up and relax. Rock in a hammock. Sip that coconut water. Splash it with something if you so choose. But just relax and enjoy and appreciate the here and now. 1-800-534-8255 or WhatsApp 925-3261. And as we reflect on prompts on the callers to date and what Mr. Elvis was sharing, and maybe ask ourselves, is there a need, for a time such as this, for people with courage and conviction, for people with passion and purpose, for people who have a great sense of humility, who are guided, by a hand that directs them to use their talents and ability to do even greater things for humanity? Is it that we are only driven by avarice as we look at the success of others and we are motivated because we too, want to get more, to have the bigger this or the better that, and in that constant striving for more, we end up with less of ourselves to give, less of ourselves to enjoy what we already have, less of ourselves to appreciate that we probably have less time, even if we got more, to do more, because time has passed us. Well, what is it that we choose? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261. And a few of the riddles that some of you have shared with us, I certainly enjoyed. Here's another one that someone came through. If you want the answers for any, I'll pass them along to you. This one says, what is seen in the middle of March and April that can't be seen at the beginning or end of either month? And I had to think about it for a while. So what is seen in the middle of the March and April that can't be seen at the beginning or end of either month? It's interesting. You only see it in the middle of March and April, but you can't see it at the beginning or end of March or April. What is it? Well, let me know what you think. At the end of the day, other villages that if you don't remember what they are, call them. We'll try to find them up and ask you again. 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Now, as we were looking at a few things just during the break, as it would seem that the world hasn't, come to a standstill. That There are probably things that will transpire in some jurisdictions, according to the popular media, for the celebration of the festivities between now and New Year's. Limit people. That creates a greater sense of, concern amongst many. Let's go to the phones. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good afternoon. Merry Christmas to you, Dwayne.
Merry Christmas. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I
am blessed. Very thankful, man. And it's so good to hear such a jovial voice with, such greatness to offer.
In regards to the trivia, is it R?
R?
Is it the letter R? Yeah.
Of all the other letters in the English alphabet, you got to pick R?
It's in the middle of March and April. That is not in no other month. It's R.
You see, when you're smart, man, I tell you, it is R.
Yeah, who said both of me is not smart?
I know it wasn't me, boy, because then I can't talk about my family that way. But this is the thing, and riddles, my dad always used to help us with Liberian teasers and stuff. I guess keep you occupied, but try to keep you inspired, But when I first looked at it, and I was thinking, what's in the middle, It can't be that. That's too easy, Sure enough, he sent an answer back. So it's R. Yep. Yeah, you want to try any of the other ones that we received from somebody earlier?
Oh, I only remember that one. And the show was so good yesterday with Sandra. Oh my God, that was so good.
Oh man, thank you.
Yes. I could relate to a lot of that, even though I'm not as old as her. But yeah.
Don't make her hear you say that. She might come on again.
No, she has come back on because I got send her back on.
There you go, man. No. I'm glad that she came in, and it's a bit.
She did an awesome job.
Yeah,
awesome job.
I think so too. It was so sweet of her to take time out and come in, and we need to encourage our people, because I think we will do and say what we need to quietly, but we're not used to taking front and center and being on stage, So I'm glad that she's amazing, her and her sister Brenda and the whole family. I mean, we know the baby brother probably got the looks from the parents and stuff, but I'm sure he got the charisma and charm in the mouth from his older sisters, right?
Yeah, like me.
All right,
all right, darling. Take care and all the best to you, okay?
Thank you. You too, man. All the best. Thanks for calling, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Listen, this is what makes us who we are, and, what makes this country such a beautiful place. And with all of the many different, nations that are represented here, of all the traditions that we celebrated, and all the people who, come with everything that they do. Let's meld it together, make it nice. We would go to a potluck. And for some of us, we anxious, excited. What's gonna be like today? And it's good to embrace. Now, it takes a bit of courage sometimes and a little bit of adventure. But nothing ventured, nothing gained, they say. Well, here's another riddle as we maybe interweave some of the little misses that may come about. But we'll leave this on the table again. We asked it earlier, see if you're interested in answering. It says, you measure my life in hours, and I serve you by expiring. I'm quick when I'm thin and slow when I'm not. The wind is my enemy. What am I? All right, well, I'm going to pause and take that break and give you a chance to think about it. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
At Subway, we caramel a lot about our customers, so we decided to give you 2 treats in one with the new Caramel Apple Cookie. Enjoy cinnamon apples, caramel bits, and salted caramel crunch baked in, and topped with a drizzle of caramel-flavored icing. Gooey, crunchy, and yummy. Complete your Subway sandwich, pizza, or salad with the delicious Caramel Apple Cookie or any other cookie flavor and dessert, available for a limited time at all Subway locations. Subway, eat fresh.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its valued customers of the following holiday hours at both its Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac offices. Friday 24th December, office hours 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. Cashier will close at 11 a.m. Office will reopen Wednesday 29th December. On Friday, 31st December, office hours are from 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. Cashiers will close at 11 a.m. and office will reopen on Tuesday, 4th January 2022. The board, management, and staff of the Water Authority wishes its customers and the public a safe and healthy holiday season.
Cash is a must this Christmas!
JN Money Cash Plus Christmas.
Send or receive funds with the JN Money this holiday season to win big!
JN Money Cash Plus Christmas.
Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
Study local and go far this spring. Want to start your bachelor's or associate degree or just need a few classes to complete? Registration is now open for spring classes at UCCI. Scholarships are available for the spring semester, but you need to act now to meet the deadlines. Visit www.ucci.edu.ky to enroll now. Classes begin January 10th. Enroll by December 1st for a chance to win an iPad or a laptop.
More ways to win big this Christmas. The more you watch, listen, and stream your favorite Digicel apps, the more chances you have to win from thousands of prizes. Enter to win the grand prizes of US $10,000 cash, US $5,000 cash, or a Digicel family pack with 4 smartphones and free service for a year. Simply listen to your favorite Christmas carols in D Music, watch movies in Play Go, live sports in Sportsmax, or connect with friends in BIP and join BIP Rewards channel for daily prizes. Claim your guaranteed prize every Saturday. Shake to win in the My Digicel app today. Digicel, better together this Christmas.
Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor Square and Grand Harbor is Christmas ready with shelves full of Hallmark and shoebox greeting cards, Hallmark gifts, and of course, essential designer brand name colognes for men and perfume sets for women. We have something for everyone on your gift list. Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor will be open on Christmas Eve till 10 p.m. and on Boxing Day from 10 to 6. Need prescriptions filled for the holidays? Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky to refill and transfer prescriptions online. We care about your holidays and your health at Healthcare Pharmacy.
It's the holiday season and time to be merry, cherry, and bright. And nothing feels better than giving to your favorite local charity. This season, take an extra minute or two to make sure your charity is a registered nonprofit with the Cayman Islands government. You can find the list of registered nonprofit online at ciregistry.ky. We'd hate to see your money end up in the wrong hands, and we're sure you do too. So keep giving, Cayman. Just double check who you're giving to. A message from the Registrar of Nonprofit Organizations.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. And thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. I can imagine the excitement many must be feeling now as they prepare to board Cayman Airways to take off, whether it's over to Florida or some other destination, but specifically heading up to the Bracken Little Cayman to celebrate with their family and friends there. It's not a case where they're going to be taking over the Christmas beef, because that'd be like carrying sand to the beach. But to be, reunited with their families. So I wish them all not just a very safe, smooth, uneventful flight. The whole process from finding how to get into the airport itself, to going through all of the protocols now and boarding and then taking off and landing. But getting there and be able to unwind and relax and to enjoy themselves. That's what we should be doing. That's hopefully where we are with what we have, and understanding how significantly important it is, I think, to end of the day be part and parcel of a community. Understanding that the rights and freedoms that we enjoy should not be confused with the privileges that some in authority may mete out to us, because they sit at the end of the table now with everything else. That corresponding sort of freedom that we have needed to be treasured and preserved, and we need to ensure that it isn't taken for granted, nor flaunted in any way as well, and abused. But likewise, not confused with privilege. Someone who buys admission to a place has that license to go in and enjoy that thing, for that time, whether it's a movie ticket, a football match, or the opera. But you might say, well, I have the freedom to speak, freedom to assemble. Well, we find that they're becoming, qualified rights, as it were. And the question sometimes to be asked is, should that be the case? Very few would expect nor accept that someone should say something that is so inflammatory, so irresponsible that it shouldn't be consequence. But how is it that we have, the ability to elect people, and they have, parliamentary privilege and immunities, or we can appoint people and we call them diplomats, and they can have immunity, seemingly. Are we creating and have already accepted that great divide in our society that some have greater privilege and immunity simply because of who they are and the position that they occupy? Think of it in the sense of legislation. Perhaps we have already created that divide, where if we were to pass a law that said if you did this particular act in this area, your sentence, your punishment, your fine, the consequence for doing it in this area is significantly greater than if you did the same thing in this other area. And when you look at the areas, one may be seen to be divided along the lines of ethnicity, color, perhaps along the lines of, money. Now, we did that with legislation in our own shores a few administrations ago, where a crime in the tourist area attracted a higher consequence, punishment, fine, imprisonment, than that same crime committed in another area. Are we saying that some lives matter more than others, or some lives matter and others don't? Maybe part of what we do in the next year is to unify us and to bring us closer. We're going to pause and take a short break, and our good friend Raymond Singh from upstairs in our sales has found a little window in his calendar, and he'll come and sit and let us share his company and his counsel. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Savannah Pharmacy. Shop local and get a head start on your Christmas shopping. For ladies' handbags, clothes, shoes, fragrance, candles, and cosmetics with the newest Farmhouse Fresh line of skincare. For the gentlemen, clothes, shoes, fragrances, gift sets, and toys and games for the kids. Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they are always just around the corner with everything your family needs. And convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
A friendly holiday reminder. You can WhatsApp your Savannah Pharmacy prescription to 929-5045. That's 929-5045. Shop at Funky Tanks, the home of electronics and more. Make sure to check out Funky Tanks' two locations, Shedden Road and Countryside, Savannah, for loads of fireworks for your Christmas and New Year's celebrations. Also, new stock has just arrived. Funky Tanks, both locations, open 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., December 20th to December 23rd. And on Christmas Eve, open 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Open 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., December 29th and 30th. New Year's Eve, open 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Funky Tanks. For more information, call 949-0998. Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year from the management and staff of Funky Tanks.
This year, more than ever, Morant would like to simply but sincerely say thank you and best wishes for the holiday season.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Here we are gifted with presents, standing in a space denied many. In gratitude to the gift that Christmas is, this very, very special time of year, this time of reflection, celebration, fellowship, mindful of our blessings, mindful of the empty chairs, the precious spaces, the giving of gifts, sharing from steaming pots, making a difference to the many around us in need. Understanding this specialness, these Cayman Islands feel cool breeze, massaging silver thatched leaves, shimmering in moonlit night, December Cayman. Food, fellowship, worship, in awe of sunsets, the beach, the children. Rotary Club Central, where community service is our ethos. We serve to change lives. Wishing you a delightful, safe, and magical holiday season.
Wow, looks good. What is that?
Chicken chair.
What did you just say to me?
Chicken chair.
I am not a chicken.
Whoa! I said chicken share. It's from KFC. Bucket of 12 hot wings, 6 pieces of chicken, or 8 tenders. KFC chicken share. Just $12 each.
Oh.
Want some chicken, tenders, or hot wings?
You're sharing your chicken share with me?
The new chicken share from KFC, just $12 each, and it's finger-licking good. Dine at KFC Baytown Plaza, KFC Shedden Road, or KFC at the Strand.
The Ministry of Education invites eligible Caymanians to apply for overseas government scholarships for the 2022-2023 academic year. To apply for an overseas government scholarship or learn more about the various scholarship programs, please visit the recently upgraded scholarship application portal at www.moescholarships.gov.ky. Applications close on Monday, 31st of January, 2022.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks too to Raymond Singh. If you're watching us on YouTube, you just tune in and you see. I won't endeavor to say to you that you look closely at it, you might see the resemblance to a very, very, popular and accomplished movie star. But I tell him all the time, he looks like him to me. So thank you for spending some time with me, right?
You know, it's funny, you made that comment a few times, and I don't personally see the
resemblance.
The resemblance. I have been called other lookalikes in the past.
Yeah. Like I mean, only if you wish to. I mean, I won't say who I've said to you, but who do you? Let me see that they see you look like. Which movie stars?
I actually would like to put a challenge to the community.
Okay.
If you think Sterling Dwayne Ebanks resembles any, whether fictional or non-fictional famous character,
no,
give us a call.
You don't get to do double. It don't work that way.
I think I'm hosting next week, maybe on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, you can do that then. No. It's amazing though. They say there's a doppelganger, for all of us, right?
Sure.
And it's interesting, not just people that you're related to. You see they sound alike. Sometimes the father and the son on the telephone sound almost like one and the same.
Sure.
Sometimes it could be two siblings. It's amazing how that is. But people who are unrelated, you travel and it's almost like looking in the mirror. And you ever wondered why that is, man? How does that work? I
mean, there's only so many. There's almost 8 billion people in the world, right? At some point, you're gonna get enough features and the right lighting, and
is that what it is? You think?
I mean, at the end of the day, in the DNA, the genes, the genes do carry over.
Yeah, I have another theory. You see, right?
Oh, what's the theory here now?
You know how prolific the Cayman Seafarer is, right? So by traveling the globe, just a thought.
Perhaps that is the case scenario.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
It's interesting. You'll find you'll go across the world and people are like coins. We travel. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just the nature of the scenario. We relocate to different places. Here we call them expats, but immigration is a worldwide, global thing. Sometimes it happened by force via slavery. Sometimes it happened on a person's own personal choice. But when people move to different places, they carry their genes to those locations. So you'll find people in northern Minnesota with very similar genes to those from Sweden.
That's what I said.
And there's this huge crossover between.
The Cayman Seafarer, that's what I'm telling you, man. We travel the globe. We help, to keep the population alive. But isn't it amazing, right? And to like read up on history and the people that will leave, let's say Europe. You talk about Minnesota, and you see the genetic correlation between them and and the Nordic countries. Now you're coming from a very freezing land, and you're gonna land anywhere that you want to. You're going to pick the same climb that you just left? I mean, would you do that?
It's people. It's just like the Cayman diaspora. Whenever people travel, they tend to travel, usually 1 or 2 travel, then 3 or 4 come along. And then eventually there's a collection. And you see it even here where we have a strong community following in certain demographics. Same thing happens all over the world.
Yeah, it is one.
So the opportunity opens up. There's a fishing town that someone's realized there's work over there. Granted, if they can go to the tropics, they'll go to the tropics. But
right. But it's probably you go to where you know, almost in a sense, right?
Well, usually the first ones don't. The first ones are the risk takers. They don't know what's going on.
The explorers.
My family came across from my parents are Guyanese, but the Indians throughout the Caribbean came after slavery had ended, and they came from India. And you'll find Indians all over the Caribbean. The first one that got on those boats to come over, they didn't really know.
Especially the very first of the first that were just thrown in the deep dark part of it and dragged across, huh?
Quite frankly, that's exactly what happened.
And
Look
yet
at Jamaican communities, you have if you go to Canada, Toronto, you'll have strong Jamaican and Caribbean communities. Same scenario in the 60s and 70s when Canada went, hey, immigration's open. If you can deal with the cold and you have an education, come on up. The first ones that kind of did it were the risk takers.
Yeah, interesting how when we look at it, Canada. Now we're talking about the First Nation peoples, and we look at the U.S. and they talk about the Native Americans. It's interesting how an established people being displaced by those who come after, right? And
great point.
It's amazing, but you use the word expat, and I used to think that was a word that was only applied in the Cayman context. I thought it was for the longest time, but it isn't. I didn't realize that.
No, it's a big part of global.
Yeah, it is.
Global employment is actually driven by.
Yeah, and so when people talk about expats, it's a phrase that were coined by those who've come to a new land, and they apply to themselves. And for the longest time, it was said publicly and interpreted and applied and as if it was something that those here were applying to those who came before, only to realize that that is not the case. It is a self sort of ascribed term. There's even a publication, the Expat magazine.
Sure. Well, when I was in college when I was in university in the early 2000s, there was, my first time learning the word expat was actually short for expatriate. Was an international communications book. In that entire that was the driving factor, was international communications.
Right.
You have to be able to communicate with those from foreign or from other jurisdictions, and expatriate became a common scenario.
We travel to universities, and I'm very grateful. I'll eternally be grateful for that opportunity to get to study. I think that a country should invest, no matter how wonderful its education system, whatever national universities it may have, allow its people to leave that shore and travel elsewhere for a year at least, if not half a year, and explore, learn and live amongst other people, get an appreciation, a sense of tolerance, a sense of understanding. But we go, and for those of us who come from other countries other than the host nation, there's an overseas students association of some sort, whatever that's called, international community. We all sort of aggregate there. I look at, like you said, communities across the globe. There's a Chinatown, there's this, there's that. All the people who seem to be, congregating from that same ethnicity in that area. I keep looking at the Cayman context, and if there was a prayer or wish that I have, is that we look, value, respect, and purposely go about, not just unconsciously, I think, as has happened in the past, and make that concerted effort to build bridges to unify us. Because I think for some reason we're seeing a growing division globally. We're seeing it here. And I would hate to believe that it's a deliberate attempt to divide, because through division it's easier to manipulate, to control, to conquer, and to bring about certain things. If you have one voice speaking from the masses, you might say, well, that's unified voice. But what if that is just simply political expediency? Let me hear the voices of many. It becomes a choir, and that chorus then sings in unison, as opposed to one dominant voice being quote unquote elected or appointed to dictate. Fine line sometimes, but the consequence can be significant.
You've covered a range of
course,
of the political spectrum in that conversation there. Because you mentioned a comment earlier about the First Nations and the American people coming and assimilating their land.
Yeah.
That's human history.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just limited to First Nations. That's not limited to Native Americans. That is literally global history since the start of us showing up on land.
Mm-hmm.
We've been killing each other, taking what's not ours, and overrunning the next group in line. That's just human history, human nature. Obviously, in the past several hundred years, that has been definitely tailored back to less volatile means, but we still have war. We still have war for lands. We still have war for power and resources.
Mm-hmm.
That's still going. It may not be happening right here in Cayman Shores, where we have guerrilla warfare going on. It is definitely happening, not very far away.
Or if it's happening here, it's happening in a different context.
It's happening in different contexts.
We don't see it because they're, what's the words of the third world song? Guns and bombs, right? We see it in a different way. People are being displaced, people are being marginalized, people are being this, that, and the next thing. All people, not just
all people.
Yeah. With that in mind, is it that when we look at what is happening, you think that there is a deliberate attempt to divide in order to conquer, to manipulate in order to control?
That's a very broad question, but the short answer would be yes.
Mm-hmm.
But it happens everywhere. In any area you have a hierarchy of some capacity, there's going to be some form of division.
Mm-hmm.
It's just nature. That's not a scenario where it's necessarily malicious at times, but that does happen. And then it does happen in broader context. We see the division from left and right in the political scenario. We see it in religion. We see it in the division of in economics at times.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between the economics ones and in the economic division, rarely is there a scenario where there's someone who is kept in slavery, where someone is unable, physically by force, unable to elevate themselves. So in the economic one, it's a lot of times there is a choice factor that is present, but it's a hard choice. If you've ever heard of Jordan Peterson, he's a Canadian therapist, and he's quite vocal about this. He's like, if individuals, doesn't matter where you're from, where you live, if you make the difficult decisions every day, not the easy ones, the decision to hit the snooze button is the easy one.
Yeah.
The decision to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and start your workout is the hard one.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I say get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and start working out, 98% of people go, I don't know, that may not be for me, because that's the hard decision.
And they probably haven't gone to bed, no more than 2 or 3 hours prior, if at all.
No, that's absolutely correct, right? They haven't actually done, but if you actually have that disciplined, focused scenario, rarely will you find a scenario where you're going to be on the disenfranchised side of the economic equation, because you're disciplined enough to make the hard decisions, which create opportunities for you. The wealthy, which I'm not by any means, but the ones who tend to have more, they're not lucky, but opportunities present themselves because they have put themselves in position to.
Yeah, I remember, in a former life working in a former sphere. I won't say the name of the trust, but in time I'll tell it to you off air. This gentleman set up a trust, and he would talk about, just you said, get up 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning to study in order to, get ahead. He did different things. His work ethic. It was by candlelight. He came through a different era, And part of, his given to his beneficiaries, whether they had to attain a certain level of education. Finish high school, you got this. If you got this level of grades, you got this amount. If you got into university, if you studied these things. And he made it very clear in the objects of the trust that he was not prepared to just give them a whole lot of money in itself. They have money, but if they really want to do something, then when they got it, here were things to do. And that ethos, that level of success that he was asking for wasn't just to grow the fund, it was to grow the individual. Make that hard decision, just like what you said. And, I was a much younger man then. Eyes were much greener, the hair was much curlier. Perhaps even the tan was much darker. But the passion didn't burn in the dimmer. And I wondered to today,
But that's the necessary... That's one of the things, one of the reasons why I preach the sports side of the coin so often. What sports does, what any self-development scenario, what sports is a natural competitive environment. When you're competing, you're naturally improving in the process. Right? It's just you're making yourself stronger. When you go to work out, you don't get stronger because your muscles go, ooh, wow, gym. You get stronger because you're ripping your muscles apart, eating properly, and rebuilding the muscles. And as you rebuild, you grow. Yeah. And the hard decision is usually quite tough in that first moment, but the payoff for it. Yeah. Just like that trust, that payoff was quite literally in dollars and cents if you could actually convert.
Yeah. You will apply yourself, here's the reward.
Here's the reward.
Unfortunately, as we go into the break, maybe many of us, we know, we come to understand, expect the hard work, equates to, that effort, that reward, and then the goalpost gets moved. You can be this if you do this.
Sure.
What was the politician in Florida, DeSantis, whatever, or Dos Santos, or many make fun of him, right? But he said, last year was 14 weeks to flatten the curve, and now it's 3 jobs to save your job. You have to wonder. Keep moving the goalposts. What's the consequence to people? Just like anything else, right? All right. So when you come back, I'm gonna tap into that big brain of yours, man, and see where we can. For those who are listening, if you want to love and laugh and learn, well, give us a shout. The handsome gentleman at the end of the table is Raymond Singh. The other guy is Paula Carl. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman,
the voice,
the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Cayman Islands Health Services Authority advises its patients and visitors of the following Christmas holiday hours. The flu clinic closes at 4 p.m. December 24th and 31st. Closed Christmas Day, Boxing Day, December 27th and 28th, New Year's Day and January 3rd, and is open for regular services January 4th. In international news, the U.S. is to lift travel restrictions it imposed on 8 southern African nations over Omicron. The White House said the November 29th measure would be lifted by New Year's Eve. The officials said the curbs were no longer necessary amid a U.S. explosion of cases of the Omicron variant. The variant now makes up most of all new U.S. cases. A veteran former Minnesota police officer has been found guilty of manslaughter for the fatal shooting of a black motorist in April. Kim Potter claimed she had mistakenly drawn her gun instead of a taser and killed Dwante Wright during a traffic stop. His death occurred at a time of high tensions, with the trial over George Floyd's murder taking place nearby. Potter's sentencing has been scheduled for 18th of February. A Moscow court has fined Google $98 million for repeated failure to delete content deemed illegal in Russia. Details of the offending content were not specified in the announcement by the court's press service. This is the first time in Russia that a technology giant has been hit with a fine based on their annual turnover. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. This may be one of the first times where the only people left in Radio Cayman for the day are the men.
No, I saw April Cummings upstairs. And I saw Uni up at the front desk. So for me to say that there's only men here, but while April was upstairs, our news director,
so you
might get in trouble.
Okay. Because I want to say, I mean, if you want something done right, you get a woman to do it. But we'll have them whether we're true. But no, it's going to be fine. If they're here, then it's all good.
You're going to jinx the show, and all of a sudden Paul's going to fall asleep behind the control panel, and Mike's going to stop working. And
okay, let's see what happens, man. But whenever I get a chance to chat with you, I always think about what happens in our lives, what has happened in our lives as humans throughout time, and the international media is talking about what China is doing in Hong Kong, and people are questioning certain things. And I was just looking at the two scenarios just of recent, and to see whether there is any sort of juxtaposition. China is now saying any sign of democracy for the Tiananmen Square massacre in 8 or 9 or whatever that was, that needs to be removed. And then not too long ago, we were putting on statues from people that seemingly have celebrated, whether it was in England or other parts of Europe, or whether it was in the US. And so I was wondering, from that perspective, should there be some sort of global, international apology for certain actions, coupled with reparation for wrongs, seemingly that we now concluded are wrong, without appreciating that that was the context of that time. In biblical times, there was slavery, 200 years ago and more. Men in the Caribbean ancestry can go back to being forcibly, taken.
I don't even know who would actually decide on.
Yeah.
Because it's a global. Like, there's no one who is immune from this.
Mm-hmm.
All of Latin America, all of South America,
mm-hmm.
all of North America, all of Europe, all of Africa,
mm-hmm.
all of Asia. I mean, we can go back hundreds of years, thousands of years, and we're going to see a scenario where there was a value to, you mentioned the divide scenario. There was a value back in the day to the strong
mm-hmm. male
figure and strong female figure in the home.
Mm-hmm.
One went out and hunted and protected. The other one actually managed the homestead, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I know in recent decades that's taken a very big backseat, but the stronger you were at being able to defend your village,
mm-hmm.
the less chance you had to get overtaken by the next group next door.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a fact of life. That was nature taking its course, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you go back to the reparations, like, where do you even start with?
Yeah.
Who would make that decision? Which cultures are going to be left out of it?
I would be willing to make it if you want. I mean, you don't have to join me.
So you will actually make the decision.
I know where I would start, but then
you know where you'd start. Where would you start?
Oh, trust me, I know where I would start. You got a call. Let's take this call now. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling Green. I just tuned in.
Yes, sir.
I just tuned in a while ago.
Good afternoon.
All this. We cannot compare China with the United States. It's a great pity, that our young people now are not taught anything about the Second World War. I often talk about this till it has become repetitive and boring to you all.
Not at all, sir.
It changed the course of history forever. Just before the Second World War, Japan was walking through China like a hot knife through butter. They killed millions of Chinese people. The Chinese nation was really saved by the United States and to a lesser extent by England during the Second World War, with troops and Australia and Canada too, going in there and rescuing them and bringing them out and saving them, but to a great extent the United States. And we saw what they did 5 years after Second World War, turned around, stopped America in the back and created and the rest of the world and created North Korea. It's their creation, North Korea is. And we saw what happened. We had the Korean War, where thousands of Americans lost their lives again, trying to defend, freedom. And the South Koreans have come out, a great nation and so forth, out of it. But now North Korea is there as a secretive terrorist nation. It's a very repressive society, completely repressive. There's no sign of democracy. So it's Canada. There's no real democracy there. They call the shots, the rulers. See what they're doing with Hong Kong. See what they do with others. Their own people. They close down on any information coming out when it's necessary. So you do not know what's really happening there. You'll never know what they do. It's no comparison with the Western world, which is by far the freest of all the worlds. And only because of the United States, we can curse, we can belittle, we can say anything we want, believe in them with the United States, but that's the bastion of freedom. That is what has kept the freedom going in the world and democracy going everywhere. Nations didn't listen to them. And when they give them money to try to help them to stay in their own country that they wouldn't need to leave, like George W. Bush did, giving more money than ever president put together to the black nations in Africa, what did they do with the money? It's gone into hands of terrorists, some of it, some into communists.
If I could ask you, because I think if there's anybody who has
democracy doesn't exist in those countries, we have to face reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think, though? Do you think in the U.S., and I think like you, many would agree this is a great nation, but do you think freedom and democracy, the freedoms that people enjoy to say and do, and what has been fought for, loss of so many lives, do you think that is under threat in America?
No, it's not at all. It's there big and bold. You can see it every day on the television. Every day where they give you their point of view. Of course, it's very political. We all know that. We saw what happened there with the elections of the President Joe Biden and all that. And you have to give them credit. They utilized the situation to the maximum and got him elected and so forth. And we don't need to go into all that to understand it. It doesn't take any genius to understand what happened here. But we can blame it on President Trump, and that's beautiful to blame the divisiveness on him, but it really didn't come from him at all. The divisiveness didn't come from him. You have to understand, this is a political thing. It's powerful politics playing out at its best, and this is it. But we talk about democracy. What is democracy? The United Nations holds up nations, and who do they defend? They're always jumping into the defense of some communist country. They're afraid to talk to them, or the terrorist countries. They're deadly scared of them. You can see that. The United Nations has become a blind, toothless guard dog. That's what I call them, a blind, toothless guard dog.
Mm-hmm.
For many years, when you saw Boutros Ghali, that terrible person being Secretary General, you know that was a finished organization. And as far as I'm concerned, I agree with President Reagan when he said the United States should get out of it and so forth. And, we have to face reality. The only thing that's holding freedom together, really, is the alliance with the United States and some of Europe, particularly the United Kingdom and Canada, of course. It's just really the United States looks as if at it as the biggest state, really. That's what President Lyndon B. Johnson said, the biggest state. And Australia and so forth. These countries binding together with the Western beliefs of democracy, where you find out freedom, people can get up and talk, and you can't do it in many Eastern countries. We see that. India gives a lot of freedom, but still there could be more. Pakistan, none at all, almost, non-existent, terrorist-friendly country. And the rest have succumbed to the terrorists. And, we must be able to face reality and stick with the situation in the West, make the best of it, and understand that's where our future lies, in the Western principles for a long time now. That's where it lies. We can adjust it, we can bring it good. You'll never find true democracy until we die, and if we get do a good job here on earth, we'll get into heaven. And it's only through the Lord Jesus Christ, the total mediator, that we find pure peace and pure democracy and pure freedom of thought. That doesn't exist here on earth. It will never be. It will always be wars and rumors of wars and so forth. That's said in the Bible itself. And we have to learn to live with this and be strong and bolster up ourselves, and don't need to run to a counsellor every time we have some problem. We have to go to a counsellor to solve it for us. We are incapable to help ourselves or think. We must be strong and bolster ourselves and say, this is it. We're going to face the future. And whatever may come, we'll face it and we'll do the best we possibly can, with the help of God, and that's it. Anyway, a very Merry Christmas, peaceful, blessed one to you all, and a Happy New Year when it comes. I know people may disagree with what I'm saying, but it's time for people to be strong again like how we were many years ago, and stop this nonsense of we needed to be guided by counselors and we needed foreigners to come in and tell us what to do, where to fish, where not to fish, what to fish for, where to save and what to save. I don't know who the hell we're saving it for. Caymanians are not increasing in population, so I don't know who we're saving things for anyhow. God bless you all.
God bless you, man.
Christmas and
Merry Christmas, sir.
All right. All the best, sir. Well, we're going to pause, I believe, in that final break. Raymond Singh sits across the table. No, we want to ask which celebrity looks like. You can tell us later. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
We may be in Christmas shopping mode, but 'tis the flu season too. Savannah Pharmacy has immune system boosters for the entire family with a range of vitamins and supplements. Their knowledgeable and courteous pharmacists are always available to offer the best advice and products. Remember, they are always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
A friendly holiday reminder. You can WhatsApp your Savannah Pharmacy prescription to 929-5045. That's 929-5045.
Lana invites you to shop the finest in European fashions for women at Ooh La La Boutique, located in Bayshore Mall. From resort wear to island chic to evening glam and holiday wear, Ooh La La has something for every well-dressed woman. Find quality, lightweight fabrics like bamboo cotton, silks, and linens, paired with elegant patterns and stylish designs, sourced from Greece, Italy, Paris, and Germany. And just in time for the holidays is a limited selection of men's linen shirts by Harris Cotton. Dress up your look with handcrafted crystal jewelry, accessories, and eyewear, or fine Italian leather handbags. Enjoy a glass of bubbly while you shop at Ooh La La. Bayshore Mall, open until 8 p.m. Happy holidays from Ooh La La Boutique.
The technology sector is forecast to be one of the fastest growing industries in the next decade, with more jobs available than skilled people to fill them. Enterprise Cayman is helping to fill this void and grow the next generation of Caymanian innovators, giving young people access to high-quality learning experiences with the opportunity to pursue careers in technology and innovation sectors. Learn to code, how product development works, enter professional competitions, access high-tech resources, network with special economic zone industry professionals, and much, much more. Visit enterprisecayman.ky to find out more. Brought to you by Cayman Enterprise City.
CG Britk would like to wish our clients, their families, our staff, and our communities a happy holiday. In this time of celebration, let us remember what this past year has taught us. That we can be in different rooms, different homes, or on different islands, yet never feel apart. Because we are here for each other and stronger together. We look forward to the new year, to serving your insurance needs, and always putting people first. Happy holidays from our CG Britk family to yours.
The holidays wouldn't be the same without a little boom from Fireworks Limited. Cayman's biggest firework discount megastore is now open behind massive equipment in Industrial Park. Fireworks Limited has a megastore full of new fireworks and offers huge volume discounts. Stock up early and save big with free gifts with every purchase and the biggest variety of products on island. Fireworks Limited is behind massive in Industrial Park with tons of parking.
Open until 6 p.m. every night and until 9 p.m. on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks to Raymond Singh for, you're going to be in next week, but he's here with us today. We do have a call, huh? Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hey, afternoon. How are you today?
We can start it off right here. We came on tape and here and live in the wreck.
Yeah, man.
What I see now, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, man.
The water came my hands.
Merry Christmas, sir.
We're 2 years ago with the plague, right? The corona. Right? Fade away. Yeah, they hold your breath, keep yourself. I good to go. The Sterling, the last caller, I endorsed him. He knew person there. And I respect him to that far. See? I know Sterling. The point I make, turn the wind. The point I make now. Listen, you talk about accountability and politician. Hello. Now listen to me. I'll probably come from a fool, right? They'll come down, they jump in that bandwagon and stick without chronic. Yo, tell you that. But still, I know, Merry Christmas. The you, the Cayman staff, and the Cayman Islands. Okay?
Thank you, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, best to you, man. Merry Christmas. You know, well, as we go into, if you wanted to maybe share something else, I'm going to ask.
No, please.
Keep looking at where we are now, and I think too many times we are either A, stuck in the past in a sense of our thinking, or B, too wishy-washy, so without held to our convictions. This thing is real. We should be not adamant and dogmatic, but sufficiently grounded in principle that this should be unwavering. For some of us, we know that they will not, as young people say one time, they won't flex on that. This is important for them, and there will be no question. But I wonder, not only are we perhaps stuck in the past, are we unwilling to even look at the past, some of us, to see how things were done, what was important, and what do we need to, garner from those maybe missteps or those examples in order to ensure that when we move forward with a plan, with a purpose, and with a deliberate outcome. But is it that we're trying to look at that from the perspective of this selfish motivation? What is this thing going to give me, the individual, as opposed to how it's going to accrue a greater benefit to the wider good? And then when the person speaks up, stands up, and says something about something, instead of looking at it and critiquing it, we just condemn, oh, that's John, that's Mary. We don't see the context and the importance of what we're saying. We just hear it and take offense because of the language, maybe the tone, maybe the choice of the words, not even...
A lot of times it is. It's nice how they're saying it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's on us to say it properly, but it's also on us to try to, what is it that our elders tell us? Pick sense from nonsense.
We're not very good at listening in this day and age. I think over the past, since the rise of the internet, the ability for people to just be able to spew whatever they want, people have turned off their listening skills.
Yeah.
We don't listen. We wait for our turn to talk in a conversation.
But then why is it then, like as you shared, we will take something, and sometimes the press release, for argument's sake, from the media company on behalf of some entity, private sector, multinational corporation, or some regulated government entity, or some appointed government body, or what have you, and we take it as gospel. But other things coming forward from some other thing, we will quickly dismiss. Well, that must be conjecture, speculation. That must be something else that we ascribe, less than positive comments to.
Sure.
Without looking at it and going, wait a minute, just because this came from this source, the gentleman called prior talked about, U.S. President Reagan probably being a great president. He talked about, withdrawing from the United Nations. Their last president before whoever's there now, Trump, he said the same thing, right? But why is it that one said? President Reagan, I think, was a great man. He created a lot of fuss within the country relative to deregulation for the airline industry, the banking sector. Now, is it his charisma and charm? Is it, his understanding instead of economics? Perhaps it was.
Might have been. Obviously, there was some knock-on effects of those decisions 20 years later, but at the time, deregulation is always a great thing, right? Because you see the effect of it after a couple of generations go by,
but that's it, right?
But to answer your point earlier, we're not very good at One very strong skill set that I learned when I was a young child, I was 8 or 9 years old, and I've tried to reinforce it to my son as well, is reading between the lines. We are not accustomed to this anymore. We've been taught to either accept what is in front of us or forget everything that's in front of us. Like ignore it because it's false. When there's actually a gray area between both of those that we're no longer very suited at deciphering.
Yeah, there are a lot of coded messages. I mean, there are some cultures, and even within the Cayman context, there are some of us who we get accused of speaking in parables. We speak in code. It may be deliberate, it may be just cultural. But I share that to ask, when you talk about reading between the lines, it's an important skill set. But should we not get to a place where we say what we mean what we say? We castigate.
You have to get rid of the entire political and judicial system to do that.
I was going to say, we castigate politicians in particular for that, because we tell them, we demand for them that they have to pander to all of us at the same time. They're telling the environmentalists, we're going to save every tree. And they're telling the developer, we're going to knock it down so you can put up more buildings. And both audiences hearing the other one and clapping for that same voice at that time. And then castigating, wait a minute, you just expect all this from the same person without seeing the importance and implications of what is being had. So is not the onus and the responsibility on us, the individual, to ensure the collective voice? Or is it that we
sure, but how do you reinforce that on it, to say once you start walking down that line of everyone should do that, you start you start walking down the socialist line again all of a sudden, because now you're requiring everyone to share a common theme. That's the complete opposite of independence and freedom.
Right. So then
you have the right to choose what you want to believe. If you want to believe in Christianity, great. If you don't want to believe in Christianity, great. Right. That's the very justification of freedom.
This is the way I like your intellect. You give us a chat and the talk, and you just use what's probably considered a political system, socialism, right? The socialist path, I think, is what I. And yet, many people, not saying that you inferred it or that will hear that word and we'll think it's a bad thing, right? And then we look at Europe and we see the socialist Democrats and we think that must be a little bit better, but
they're all bad. Every system's got it's bad to it, and that's just the nature of the coin.
But what about today, right? This year and then last year, are not a lot of the things that we asked to do socialist principles? The greater good is to be preserved by everybody doing this, and in fact, you're going to be ostracized if you don't conform, and you're going to be punished, sometimes heavy financial penalties or imprisonment if you don't. Now, how many people are looking at and asking themselves, is it because their safety is threatened? Is it their financial position is threatened? Is it the confusion and all the conflicting messaging globally that they're not able to do anything other than to be confounded? But yet, it's a socialist approach, right? And we're giving up, a lot of our freedoms and somehow accepting without realizing it a privilege. So you now have the privilege through this thing to now get into this place. But if you get a privilege given to you, can that privilege be taken away?
Well, every social system is a way in of what you're giving up. Even in the most free capitalistic society you have, like the U.S., you still give up your freedoms on any given day in trade for certain scenarios. You don't get to drive however fast you want on the roads. You still have to wear your seatbelt. You still have to pay some form of taxation. You still have to go through the process. It's just what degree are you going? In the more far left side of the coin, your left side of the coin, my left hand, you're giving up far more freedoms in return for a greater social network. On the far right side of the coin, you're giving up fewer of those freedoms for more autonomy in your decision making. And the important part, I think, is on that education side, is teaching kids how can you make responsible choices on the right hand side of the coin. How can you still have your freedom and make responsible choices?
But is that the challenge? That in one breath, we're asking our students to be educated as critical thinkers and learners. And
I think we're saying that. We're not actually doing
that. But the same measure, when that is transpiring, we're condemning the teacher for doing it, or you're inciting radicals, or we're not somehow actively engaging the children for trying to achieve that. And it's a conspiracy theorist. Well, that critical thinking and learner is now the conspiracy theorists because they're questioning something. That's the scientists, right? Maybe as you spark more interest and intrigue, perhaps this evening's discussion, as family and friends gather, or tomorrow as a fellowship, maybe how do we come together more as a people, become more willing to engage and embrace, look at our views of each other, and
put it to a challenge. Put it to a challenge from you to the community.
Great.
And here's my challenge to you to challenge the community. Because if I do it, I'll get ostracized. But if you do it, sorry. I read this comment the other day, and it was fantastic. It said, "Go one whole day without complaining, not about anything, not about your neighbor, not about the government, not about your kids, not about your parents, not about your spouse,
no
not
complaints.
About your weight, nothing, not a single complaint. As soon as you think it, change your thought process right away. Do it for one whole, and there's no better weekend this whole year to do it than this coming weekend, because you have 4 days, 4 theoretical holidays. Don't complain about the traffic. Don't complain about the weather. Nothing. Not a single. Don't complain about the fishing. Don't complain about a single thing. And let's see how much better Cayman society is on Wednesday. If everyone did that for the next 4 days, let's see how much better Cayman is in 4 days.
Well, I like that. I think not enough of us appreciate what we have. Now, I'll flip the coin on you. I think I try to be positive. I try to be nurturing and encouraging. I think I have a fairly good positive outlook on things.
Sure.
And I want, honestly, to publicly acknowledge that I think I'm blessed. I think that I'm genuinely gifted with the privilege to live in such a beautiful place with beautiful people, not just physically, right? So I'm grateful to them, genuinely grateful to them. Yet there are people who see that, and they see your smile, they see your genuine attempt to embrace what is good and positive, and they complain about that. They look at you like there's an issue.
Sure, right? I get that all the time. I'm very much the same. I get it all the time. People are like, people question why I'm always happy-go-lucky, and but if you've been in the muck before, you just learn to appreciate little things. And
So I like your challenge, and maybe for those of us, my father, I think he's a man of great wisdom, and he says, you sit to eat, no matter where you are, what you think, you give thanks for that morsel, right? He said not just that you got food to eat, but that you can eat the food that you have. And I've always tried to think that, okay, if it's a piece of bread or cracker, if it's the best tasting meal my mother made, you sit and you give thanks for that. Because how many people, because of food allergies or because of health conditions, there's food but they can't eat it.
Yeah,
right?
Or worse, there's no food.
Or worse, how many people will want to wish that they could get some of the scraps, that you discard.
Absolutely.
And I like the fact that if we ask, so like you have said to people, if each of us were to do our very best in everything, don't worry about whether John is doing his best.
Forget John.
You do your best. Yeah. You do your best.
Stay in your
always.
Lane. Yeah.
Stay in your lane. Huh?
Stay in your lane. Look at because you have to worry about your 2 feet in front of you walking those next 2 steps. What do you worry about John his 2 steps for?
Yeah, it's not Terminal Pilot song. Stay in your lane. But if you do that,
but it's a great analogy because people are going to drive faster than you. People are going to drive. There's a joke I love to tell. I know I got to go, but
no, that's cool.
You're driving on a road. Someone's driving fast to you. The guy that's driving fast than you is called the maniac. The guy that's driving slower than you is the
snail.
Many bad words. Snail that's slowing you down from getting right. But you're fine. You drive. So you're always looking at the guy driving faster, and you're trying to complain about his speed when all you have to do is focus on what you're doing. Doesn't matter what anyone else is doing on that road.
Do your best, man.
Do your best.
And this is where I think to compliment what you offered. Exactly. Let's not complain. Let's be grateful.
4 days.
Right? And start with just today. Right? Tomorrow, let tomorrow take care of itself. Deal with today. Let's be grateful and gracious. Hospitable. Let's look at the blessings, the positivity. No complaints.
Even on social media. Don't go onto those Facebook pages and making comments on things. Don't go looking at the other media houses and saying...
Stay off that.
Stay away. If it looks to you like it might make you complain, turn away.
Well, I'm back, God's will, on a Wednesday.
Yes.
Unless I can find a way for it to be other. I say when I become governor, there'll be a national holiday for that 12-15 day period between sometime before Christmas and after New Year, where there's a national period of celebration. Because this is the time to be grateful and gracious. This is the time to celebrate.
Sure.
And, I called a good friend earlier, and I'm so glad. I feel bad, and I hope I didn't disturb him too much, interrupt his siesta. But he shut his company down. The employees are happy. They're paid. They're fed. They're going to relax and enjoy. And come next year, they're going to be working extremely hard as they've done all year. So for a couple of days, put your feet up. Enjoy your family and your friends. No complaints. Be positive. And embrace the cassava cake.
Yeah.
Savor the chocolate cake.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. This is time for desserts.
The
stores are abundant with desserts right now.
My dessert awaits. Really thank you for giving me, some of your time. And to our listeners, I can say without fear of contradiction that Raymond Singh, Paul Akal, and all of the team here at Radio Cayman, the men included, okay? We want for you and yours to have a very blessed, safe, merry, happy, and very, 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 relaxed and rewarding Christmas. Right?
Absolutely. Have a very Merry Christmas, and we'll reconnect with everybody on Wednesday.
On Wednesday. So enjoy, what doesn't happen very often. This very, very, special time of year. All right. Paul, thank you very much for your time, man. And I trust that tasty treat that, I won't say anything. To our friends, be blessed. See you on Wednesday.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah